You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
Netflix has a new monstrous story to tell. In 1950s Wisconsin, Ed Gein lived quietly on a decaying farm, hiding a house of horrors so gruesome it would redefine the American nightmare. Driven by isolation, psychosis, and an all-consuming obsession with his mother, he committed crimes that would haunt Hollywood for decades. The third and most harrowing installment of Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan's anthology series. Watch Monster, the Ed Gein story, October 3rd, only on Netflix.
Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with his plight? Aha! Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at Canva.com.
Hello. Welcome in. It's Birds of Feather Podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Taj Bravado.
And this is episode 94, Winning Solves a Lot. Coming back at you to have our breakdown of that Washington Commanders versus the Atlanta Falcons game, coming live at you from a Falcons win. Looking back at the film of the game, we'll discuss some things we saw, good and bad, for the team. We'll go into what's going on in the division, and then we'll have some ATL at the end. So appreciate you guys. Come with us and enjoy this ride. Taj, going back into the game. So initially we had our live reaction. There was a couple things that we pointed out that, hey, maybe we'll dive deeper into coming into the actual pod. I want to say that the film last week versus Carolina was very, very unforgiving. Right, a bunch of people showed up, not great, right? And I named the title of this pod "Winning Solves a Lot" because the film wasn't super the result was amazing, but there was still a lot of things to clean up when you look on the film. There were a lot of things to coach on both sides of the ball, and so I think it's for fans, at least, it's easier to say that we still need room for improvement coming off a win rather than a loss.
Right.
But you go ahead and start off. Tell me some things that you saw, and then we'll get into it.
As good as the game was, there still was some meat left on the bone. But I'm just thrilled that Penix bounced back with the game that he did. Following the stinker that he put up in Carolina last weekend. This was our best game yet, but this can't be the best to come.
And I agree there. I definitely saw so for Penix specifically, right? I saw some deep shots left on the field. Two in particular. One check down resulted in a Bijan like 14 or 15-yard gain, but you had Mooney wide open in the he ran a beautiful post route, same side of the field too. It's just maybe his eyes came away from it too quickly. And then the second one, safety was rolling over. It was a too high shell, but I believe Penix's arm could have got it there. That's me. I digress.
So when it comes to those kind of plays, I don't really like to criticize those too much. It's like as I'm getting deeper into my understanding of film and quarterback progressions, sometimes it's as simple as that player that was open to us wasn't in the progression, or they were late in the progression and someone else was open. Because the thing is, when you're watching, when you're a quarterback, right? If your first read is open, you're just going to throw to your first read. You're not going to go, oh, he's open. Let me go find out. You're just going to throw to the first read.
Absolutely. And usually the first read on most plays tend to be, well, depending on what side of the field you're on. You're looking for London, looking for Piz, Mooney's sometime the first option on a play. Like, it just depends on the play call. You get that?
Yeah, the first read, every play has its own, every play is has its built-in reads of progression. Because there's been plenty of times, like, we can even talk about the red zone play where they ran mesh and Bijan ran a rail route. He's like, Bijan was wide open. He wasn't looking there.
Nah.
He didn't see him until the last thing because that was not his initial read. Yes, you would like him to see that, but the thing is, he's playing quarterback. He has to do his job. If he's looking at that, then he's ignoring his initial progressions.
Another thing that I pointed out that you spoke to Bijan, you spoke about Bijan in the red zone. I said coming off the pod, like the live reaction, every play in the red zone involved some action with Bijan. After looking at the film, that wasn't necessarily the case, but I had it wrote down.
I'll let you have that one.
No. It wasn't necessarily the case, but I wrote it down. If you running the ball, play action, or misdirection to his side, it was 74% of the plays in our red zone had to do with Bijan. And to me, that's an amazing number. I want that number right around there every single week if we can. If you look at who scored in the red zone, Bijan, Drake, and Pitts all scored in the red zone.
Yeah, I think Algier was just outside.
Yeah, like that's a perfect progression on how you want that offense to roll week after week. Now, the thing I will say, offensively, I feel like maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit, right? I don't feel like we were bad in the run game overly. I really think we are at a disadvantage at our wide receiver 2 position, and that may really need to be addressed at a sooner rather than later, to be honest with you.
I don't think we're at a disadvantage. I think Mooney's just not playing his best football right now. He showed us that he's capable as number 2. He just got to catch the ball. Week 4 of the season, this is really he's not really had any action, and he suffered a hamstring injury throughout the season. So like wide receiver 2 is fine. Wide receiver 3 is more of my personal issue.
So you're definitely feeling like, well, go ahead.
Yeah. This is like, even that, like, I think Casey Washington could eventually fill in a wide receiver 3 spot if they don't decide to address that in the offseason. And they could do that the multitude of ways: free agency, trade, draft. Nothing's off the table.
I think Casey has potential. I honestly do think Casey has potential.
Yeah, absolutely. But like you were alluding to with the red zone, like a lot of Bijan was involved, and Bijan's the engine of this offense, possibly the best player in the league. I think he could be. I don't know if he's there yet, but he's well on his way. Another thing that stood out to me watching the film is body language of Kyle Pitts. The confidence is there. A confident Kyle Pitts is a Kyle Pitts that you want on your team. He's engaged. The swagger's there to him.
You called it multiple times. He is getting involved early in the game. Was it the past 2 weeks? Past 3 weeks, I think it has. He's had a catch in the first quarter, in the first 2 drives.
Yeah. You got to get him involved. And I think that they're starting to understand it, but they're also using him actually using him to what he is, and not just boxing him in, trying to just make him be a tight end. Like they're moving around on the formation. They're actually coming out a whole lot more in 12 personnel. Because it's a nice little wrinkle they're doing where they're, they'll come out Bijan. They'll come out Bijan. Let me get it. Bijan, Drake, Mooney, or whatever receiver, Pitts, and then Charlie Warner. But what they're doing is they're putting Charlie Warner in the backfield as a running back on shotguns, and they're having Bijan the receiver. It's a cool little wrinkle. And it kind of, messes with the personnel a little bit because defensively you don't know what they're going to line up in. You just see the personnel, and they, because Bijan's skill set is so unique that you can kind of do a lot of different things.
I don't want to throw you off your point too much, but something that I saw on film. So if you guys remember back to week 1, people were basically calling out what the predictability of the plays were. Like, oh, whatever side Charlie Warner's motioning to, we're running to that side out of pistol like 100% of the time. I will say we didn't overly use play action any more than we have in any other game. Like what was it, like 5% more? Because it was a very low amount of plays that we used play.
5% that's a big amount considering 5%.
The grand scheme, that's like 3 extra plays.
It will put us around league. It's like league average is about 14%. We were at 9.
Yeah, okay. I give you that. But like we used plays on like 5% more plays. We still ran the same amount of pistol, and then we still ran out of pistol almost at the exact same rate.
Actually, we ran 80%.
So it was slightly higher?
Yeah.
Like it was so like for all the people talking about like predictability and all those things. What I will say is that we came out in similar formations, but there were wrinkles. And I wanted to say I saw Charlie Warner on motions, and we play actioned out of that. And it was only one play. But I was like, you know what? That's a very good tendency breaker. That's showing that like you're understanding and recognizing where your weaknesses may lie.
Now, speaking of motions, I can't remember if this was a motion, but I do know that it involved I guess it's not quite an insert block, but it's like I don't know the terminology is escaping me right now. But Ray McLeod was pretty much being the lead blocker on Bijan's touchdown run. Yes,
on that Barry Sanders run.
Yes, Bijan scored, right? But if Ray would have just blocked his guy instead of hitting the dude and then watching him attempt to tackle Bijan, the first guy to touch Bijan was Ray's guy. And Ray just sitting there like, what are we doing? But yes, you got Bijan. Bijan's great, but don't make his job harder.
Yeah, that was a terrible pocket tip. And for wide receivers, that was crazy.
It was quite annoying.
And I think that speaks to your point on. I don't think he has. I know for a fact Ray's not as impactful as he was last year. Now, granted, you're playing with veteran. Later, you were starting the season with veteran quarterback, was spreading wealth around a good bit, right? Getting some people, getting everybody involved for the most part. And this year, it seems like Penix's favorite targets are Bijan out of the backfield, Drake London, and then Kyle Pitts in that order. And I can't say he's wrong for that, right?
I mean,
so understandably, there's a little dip in production. Which absolutely, right? But I think that's what facilitated my point of conversation is that like wide receiver 2 and to your point 3, just upgrading our wide receiver core in general. And I'm not going to lie, when Casey was in there, it was a little bit of a spark. And not just when you talk about having a wide receiver core, right? It's not just about which guy catches the ball, right?
Chemistry.
And I think that's where a lot of people get like lost in the sauce a little bit. What's up?
No, it's like chemistry.
What's up on that?
No, I was saying like it's not just about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Like you got to have guys who are willing.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to have guys in there who are willing to be hard-nosed blockers. You have to have guys in there who are willing to run hard on dummy routes where they're not getting the ball. You have to have guys who know how to work with the quarterback to get open once the play breaks down a little bit. And I think that granted Mooney was out for a while, and Ray's not as big a part in the offense, but you can see it in our wide receiver core that like right now as a unit, we kind of lack chemistry. You see it on the route running. We're kind of muddying routes by being in the same area, and it doesn't look like the play is designed that way. Now, granted, I'm not the offensive coordinator, right? But like you'll have multiple plays where guys end up just in the same area. Could it be a result of Penix holding the ball too long? Possibly, but like a lot of these concepts don't seem like you're going to end on the same side of the field, right? You saw it a lot during the Panthers game, which I feel like the Panthers did a good job of changing the picture late, but I also don't think the wide receivers did a lot of, did them any favors. This week, I saw it a little cleaner. I saw guys were in their spaces. I think there were opportunities for Mooney in 34. I just said his name multiple times, but it escaped me. I think there were opportunities for both of them, and maybe Penix just didn't pull the trigger. But I do think that even though we had a really prolific day, there was a little left there.
I mean, one of those was Penix made a great throw rolling to his left, hit Mooney in the bird basket. He just dropped it.
And drops are going to happen, and I hate to say that because like that's your job, but like drops happen, right? Drops happen,
but it's like 2 to 3 every week since he's been back now. That can't be a thing.
And that's where I'm really worrying about it.
Because you know who don't got a drop?
Does Drake not have a drop this year?
No, Drake got plenty. And
I think he's top 7 in every receiving category for tight ends. I might be fact check me on that one, but
I want to say something. Quiet as kept, Kyle Pitts has been our best receiving weapon 4 games through the season. Well, named Bijan don't count in this particular instance.
Bijan is just a weapon, weapon X type thing. But no, you're not wrong. This was Drake's big breakout game. Yeah. 8 for 110 and a tutty. But yeah, Drake hadn't touched the end zone. But I mean, to be fair, Kyle hadn't touched the end zone, right? But yeah, no, it's a lot of inconsistency in the wide receiver core. And I said on the live, I was like, Ike Hilliard may not have been the main issue. And then you immediately chimed in and was like, but he could have been like the canary in the coal mine. Like he could have been a warning light. I checked the film for the game, and I didn't get super deep into it, but I kind of just put up some screenshots of last week's game and like guys in the same area, guys basically running into each other on routes, not being where the ball is, and then see it this week. And cohesively, while you're watching a game, you feel as though the quarterbacks and receivers are on the same page and things are moving better, and you can attribute that to TJ Yates. But when you see it, as opposed to last week, like, bro, it's a night and day. So, like, yeah, and I'm not here to pile on him, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I'm not talking about the man and his job or anything like that. But I do think there was a distinct lack of chemistry, and that needs to be built over the course of the next 2 weeks before we play the Bills.
So, I understand what you're saying there. I'm going to push back a little bit because, like, it's easy to say that, but at the same time, the players got to play. And I feel like him getting fired was more so just like, okay, it's real, rather than TJ Yates coming in here and doing something different because it was just a week. I feel like the players just locked in more and just was more detail oriented. Because I guess maybe the message was heard last week because, like Bijan said in one of the pressers, they can't have a big head. Like they came into the Carolina game with a big head, and they got humbled. So I feel like,
And Raheem said this game was his apology to the fans, and apology accepted, bro.
One game and an apology, but a playoff record will be. But I mean, could that have been an IQ thing? Possibly. Because I mean, the receivers had their issues last year. But 1 week after, I'm going to attribute it to the players just being more locked in. And I'm just going to attribute it to that. As things develop further, then we could reassess that particular juncture.
Nah, hey, look, I'm not mad at it. I think that we did a great job of I think we did a great job on the offensive end, the side of the ball. I actually think the film was much kinder than the stats. Obviously, we're no fly zone, like we're keeping the pass yards pretty low. We did get a little gashed in the run game. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But when you look on how we played along,
it was one run.
I was about to say, if you look at how we played along the line, we really was throwing some weight around for, and I say we, yes, I'm part of the team. You know, we were really, for the most part, controlling the line of scrimmage for the game. Now, the sack numbers were not there like that, and you know, Mariota doesn't take a whole bunch of sacks like that. He's a mobile quarterback. Even if they end up getting tackled like 2 yards but across the line of scrimmage, right? Like you contained them and you did their job. You just didn't get a sack. I'm fine with that. We didn't let him, outside of that one run, we didn't really let him get off, right? And that was somebody taking a bad lane. Watts didn't fill a hole, right? And missed a running back. That was the one big run. And Hughes got beat deep. Now, granted, these are all big plays. I'm not like minimizing them, but I'm saying over the totality and course of the game, I think our defense, like when you turn it on, played really, really well. And they allowed 27 points, yes, but I feel like they played really, really well.
Yeah, so I actually peeped some stats this week. We are 7th in total offense, and we are 3rd in total defense.
I mean, I feel like our defense is balling, bro. Like
number one pass defense in the NFL.
100%. That makes sense. So a lot of times, and I think I talked about this maybe 2 years ago, where sometimes defensive numbers can be skewed, right? Because if my offense is super prolific and I get up on you pretty quickly, you're not going to run the ball. And if I do that for 3 or 4 weeks, it's going to look like I have a great rush defense, right? And then if I run into a team that can ground and pound ball control, it'll quote unquote expose me. But like I never had a great run defense. My offense was just prolific, right? So like this game, we never were able to take them out of running truly until the fourth quarter. But when I think about how all of our games have progressed over the course of the season, right? We struggled offensively in the Tampa Bay game, but they didn't get off on us, like for the most part. They didn't run the ball extremely well. They were just able to kind of keep drives going. They didn't pass the ball extremely well. Like you said, we haven't allowed a passer of over 160 yards. Obviously, we dominated the Vikings. Like but even then, okay, that's going to kind of skew the defensive numbers. But in the grand scheme of things, we got up on them pretty quickly, right? Then we played ball control offense, and we kicked 5 field goals that game. But for the most part, you weren't able to run the ball, and we kept the passing yards down. You look at the Carolina game, they weren't running the defensive numbers up. They weren't running the numbers up on us, right? Like our scoring defense number probably went down. But in the grand scheme, they played on short fields for most part of that game. They had a pick six, and then they played on short fields. And then with this last game, I already talked about it. So it does not surprise me that we're rated that high on defense. Maybe third is a little high in my opinion from what I've seen. But, like, it's not crazy for us to end the season with a top 5, top 10 defense. That's not a crazy mindset to have.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, not at all.
The Vikings game may skew it a little bit early now.
Use anything because you can skew with the Panthers game or the Bucks game or even the last year. One thing is that the yards have remained consistent through all 4 games.
Pass defense.
Run defense as well. I mean, the total yardage been about, like, I think the Commanders got the most total yardage and they still didn't get over 300.
Yeah, rushed for
the total it was like 297 or 280, something like that.
Rush for 130, pass for 156. That's 291. 291.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, like, the yardage has been relatively consistent. We've outgained our opponents in every single week. So it's nice to
now our scoring defense might need to get a little bit better.
All of that's not their fault, but I mean they're about average. Because a lot of this stuff is just short fields.
Because off the interception, we allowed a touchdown. And not to keep harping on it, but those kickoff rules make a vast difference, bro. Like, because you got to think, you're giving up 10, 15 yards at the offset. If you don't get a kicker down and you kick it into the back of the end zone, you're automatically at the 35. Or if they get a good return, like they have been getting on us, they're starting at the 40. So if they score a touchdown on that drive, it's only 60 yards as compared to 80 on a normal drive. So, like, and that's where it's all 3 phases of the game make a difference, man. Like,
they almost gave up a kick return on Sunday.
Yeah. Like, got them starting at the 50 or the 45 on our side. Like, that's a 50-yard drive that ends in a touchdown. Whereas, those 30 yards aren't on our ledger, but our scoring defense still takes a hit. So, like, I think all defenses are kind of, going to be skewed by that, going to be hit by that as of right now. The Cowboys have a weapon because of these new kickoff rules, bro, because I'm going to be honest with you. If they get a decent return, because, like, Turpin is a pretty good returner. If they get a halfway decent return and get close to the 45, they're already in field goal range. And, like, I would love for that to be our special team situation. It is not the case. Obviously, our returner is going to be in concussion protocol through this week. Luckily, we don't have a game.
Look, that's not our main returner.
It was
that was Natron Brooks.
Oh, that was 30. Who's he? 35?
35.
Yeah. 14 is our main returner, ain't he? All right. That's good. Yeah. But he's obviously going to be in concussion protocol.
I mean, we'll have him back when we play our next game because we got a bye week.
We got a bye this week.
So,
did you have another?
Oh, no, I was just wanting to get into the bye week now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bye week coming at a good time. 2-2 at the bye week. That's a sweet spot to be in. After Buffalo and the Niners, we kind of get into what looks like the easier part of our schedule. But, bye week means you get healthy. AJ Terrell, we're most likely getting him back. Storm Norton, most likely getting him back. Braylon Trice, possibility getting him back. Maybe Troy Anderson. Throw my special teams. in Darnell Mooney because he had a hamstring injury in the Washington game. So those are 5 pieces that could be coming back to the team that can, offer some extra bodies and, just to get us all around more healthy. Storm Norton will be an upgraded pass protection over Elijah Wilkinson, who's actually been solid.
Signed from the Jets, right?
Who?
Elijah Wilkinson. Didn't he play with the Jets?
Not that I know of. He's been with us the whole time.
Oh, all right. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm thinking somebody else.
Yeah. You talking about you thinking of a practice squad tackle?
We ain't gotta get stuck on it. Go ahead.
But going to the bye week 2-2, getting a good chunk of our people back ahead of the Buffalo game is going to be crucial.
AJ is absolutely necessary. Like, obviously, you don't want to rush a hamstring injury back. He's missed the past 2 games, right? And the bye week. So hopefully that's enough time to heal. We want him back. Troy Anderson, it's a solid piece in the rotation, in the linebacker rotation. I don't know if he's actually going to get a lot of burn right now because our linebacker core is actually looking really good. It was I'm going to be honest with you. We can kind of stay here for just a minute. You have been touting him for the past 2 years, right? And the past 2 years have ended in injury. And I think Braylon Trice kind of falls into this category as well. Sometimes you are drafted for a moment and injuries occur and a season happens and you might kind of miss your moment. And I feel like with the free agent signings, our linebacking core has great chemistry right now. And granted, that could change over the course of the season. But, like, we've got a good mix of Divine Diablo has shown some pass coverage skills, right?
Elite coverage. He's
yeah. Who's our Russian linebacker? He led the team in sacks last year. I'm tripping right now.
Arnold McKay?
No. He didn't. He went to the Pro Bowl. Bro, white guy. I see him in my eyes right now.
We didn't have Caden Ellis to go to the Pro Bowl.
I didn't say he went to the Pro Bowl.
What white guy are you talking about?
It is Caden Ellis, but didn't he lead the team?
Pro Bowl. No, it's Arnold McKay led us in sacks.
All right, Caden Ellis.
He's not white.
What is he?
He's Samoan.
We'll deal with that at a later time. All right.
He's Samoan.
You right. All right, cool. I'm not going to argue with you.
You told me we're going to do that at a later date. Like
Caden Ellis, he's still doing great at pass rush. I haven't really seen the need to upgrade or take anybody off the field in that regard. Him coming back maybe allow breathers, but like Braylon Trice is who I'm kind of worried about in that situation. I'm super excited when we drafted him, right? He hadn't been able to get on the field. I feel like our pass rush is getting – the numbers weren't there last game, right? The numbers hadn't really been there the last 2 games. They were really inflated by the Vikings game. But if you're watching film, you're watching our line, they're working really well together.
I mean, we've had a sack in every game. We got 2 sacks this past week. Pressure was there. So,
and maybe he breaks the rotation and gets in, but we got a nice.
We don't have a true run stopping edge, so that's where he will come in. He has a home. He just got to be healthy.
Because he tore his ACL, right? Like he tore his ACL before
in preseason
last season.
In the first preseason game, I think versus Miami.
Yeah, and then is he just coming back from that, or he had another injury?
But he has aggravated something. I guess he aggravated that injury. He had a small setback, but they say they designate him for return. So whether he returns or not, this would be the earliest he could. So we'll see over the course of about a week and see if we get any updates on that.
And then who was the last guy you said? Oh, Mooney. Yeah, Mooney was left game or he tweaked his hamstring. So no, that bye is coming at the right time. But one of the things that I wanted to press was that 2-2 record that you were talking about. We are in a great position. We said when we went over the season, we thought for the most part 10-7, 11-6 type of record, right? And a great deal of that hinged on being 3-1 or 2-2 at the break. Do I honestly believe we could beat? I definitely think we could have won the Buccaneer game. I feel like Carolina was just a lesson in humility. I don't feel like we would have won that game under any circumstances. Coming off the Vikings game, I think we needed that egg in our face, right? Like I think I said, like when we were doing the year review, I was like, we're gonna lose like Carolina or Washington. Like we're not gonna win both of those games just because like you kind of need that. It just is what it is, right? Yeah, good teams lose to a bad team every now and then. It happens. But when I'm looking at it, I consider us a good team, right? Our point differential is it's kind of low right now. It's not kind of low. It's like negative 10 right now. But that's really, really skewed by the Carolina game, right? And if you look at the leader of our division, Tampa, their point differential is 0, right? And they're 3-1.
Yeah.
So like it's razor's edge. But yeah, I definitely think we're at a great point going into a bye.
Absolutely.
And there's a world of difference between 2-2 and 1-3.
Absolutely. Now, obviously we play the Bills next week. So we're not going to go too deep into that, but there's a couple of things I want to touch on. So obviously, Bills are 4-0, right?
Yeah.
Here's the records of the people they have played: the Ravens 1-3, the Jets 0-4, the Dolphins 1-3, the Saints 0-4. They have a cumulative record of 2-14.
Yeah, because the Dolphins just won. Yeah, because I was about to say the only team they played that had a win was the Ravens.
Yeah. So
and the Ravens might have a historically bad defense.
Yeah, and Lamar's hurt, so that's a whole other issue.
The Dolphins, they're actually I was gonna say they look like they gave up, but they actually played pretty hard, right?
Yeah. But losing Tyreek for maybe a career,
he might be. Yeah, Tyreek might be done.
Yeah.
That's rough.
I bring it up to say, is Buffalo the threat that we thought they were?
So I watched the end of that Saints game, right? I didn't go back and watch the whole thing, but I watched the end of the Buffalo Saints game. And they were kind of showing the highlights throughout the day or whatnot. Last year, Josh Allen won the MVP a lot based off of how Patrick Mahomes won his MVP in 22, right after Tyreek left, right? Where it was like your all-star receiver left and you made it work with spare parts, right? And you did a lot of the heavy lifting. And he had a huge number of rushing touchdowns that were a little bit inflated because they weren't tush-push touchdowns, but they, could have won to
he actually earned his, unlike someone else, but that's another issue.
We can get into it, right? So, but that he won it that year. Starting in 2023, what was the narrative about Kansas City and their offense?
I couldn't recall.
The past 2 years, Kansas City and their offense is, man, what happened to the light show? What happened to being able to put up the yards? What happened to being able to score the touchdowns and whatnot? Right now, Josh may be a little bit more physically gifted than Patrick, which is like we're splitting hairs. They're both like all world.
I splitting hairs. He's more physically gifted.
But just pass a better quarterback. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Maybe he was at one point. Not lately, yeah.
He just beat him head to head. He was just in the Super Bowl. We're not.
Okay.
We're not.
Time out. Okay. Let's just have a simple conversation. Team success is not individual success, right? Mahomes has thrown Mahomes' past 2 years to the standard that he has set have been disappointing. Yes, they have made Super Bowls, but Mahomes himself has not been who we thought he was. You can give him credit for, yes, he made it to Super Bowl. Absolutely, cool. But his performance has not been what it was of a top 5 quarterback.
It's not just making it to a Super Bowl. He's made it to 3 straight.
That's cool. But guess what? He got a dominant defense with him. He has a dominant defense. He has a dominant defense. He has the best defensive coordinator in the land of Steve Spagnuolo.
Okay. Yeah.
Look, hold on. I get it. Mahomes is that guy, but statistically, he has not been the top 3 guy. Yes, he's been winning games, but it's a team game. He has a better team, yes. But statistically, individually, he has not outperformed Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen. I don't care about your Super Bowl talk. I'm talking about individual stats.
Individually,
he has not outperformed none of them.
Individually, no. But like one, he does have the hardware to back it up. He has 3 MVPs.
Okay. This is the one argument I hate when it comes to identifying quarterbacks. Yes, he's won Super Bowls, but guess what?
Not just Super Bowls. He's had 3 MVPs.
But how long ago were they?
His last one was in 2022.
Exactly. I said 2023 and 2024, he has declined. That's what I said. I didn't say 2022. I said the past 2 years.
All right.
Look at the stats. Look, you got a computer. Look at the stats. Prove me wrong. Pull the stats up. Tell me that he ain't dropped. No, just do me a favor. Look it up and tell me he ain't dropped off. Just look it up.
That was speaking to my point. You're proving my point.
That's what I said. He's dropped off, but you're like he's been the best quarterback. I said not the past 2 years. He has.
The point of the game is to win the game. The point of the game is to win the game.
And guess what? It's a team game, not just him.
Which I get.
Mahomes has not carried. Josh Allen carried that team. Mahomes has not had to carry that team. He's been getting carried the past 2 years by the defense. Okay, I'm not gonna say he's been getting carried.
I was about to say that's a wild
carry, but he's not been doing heavy lifting the past 2 years.
All right, that speaks to my point, right? It speaks to my point of the fact that like the talk was what happened to the light show in 23 and 24. What happened to being able to throw it all around the field? What happened to the high yardage totals? What happened to the high touchdown totals? Right? I feel very similarly about Lamar, Mahomes' 22 season that did about Josh Allen's season last year, where you were asked to carry, right? You were asked to put it on your back. You did it kind of with a ragtag group of not ragtag group, but like there's no truly it guy on in your wide receiver court, right? Like Keon Coleman, he's nice, he's a fun story, but like he's not putting up 1,700 yards, 1,600 yards like Tyreek was for Patrick. Or
with Patrick. He wouldn't even do that with Patrick if we're being honest.
Yeah, but like my thing is, didn't have an alpha guy, right? You carried that. And then like people were making all these excuses. Oh, it's the too high shell. Oh, it's the, offensive line regression or anything like that, right? And we haven't necessarily seen that with Buffalo, especially considering they started off 4-0. But if there is a season in which there's going to be some regression or fallback, I saw the Saints get decent pressure on him and really fluster him up a bit, right? Yeah, they had an amazing comeback versus Baltimore, but they were down like 20 points in that game.
And they scored 40 points.
Yeah, but they were down 20 in that game.
But they scored 40.
I think we're at a point where,
and he threw 390 in the game.
We're kind of due for. Once again, Baltimore may have a historically bad defense.
I mean, but the Jets are. I can't speak to the Jets.
The Jets game.
I don't know what they got.
No, I think he put belt to ass on the Jets. I think that one was tough. But I know against the Dolphins, that
was a closer game, yeah.
Game down to the wire, right? So like Dolphins and Saints in back-to-back weeks, not your finest outings. I want to keep that one in the tuck because I do think that he's going to deal with a lot of the same things. And he's physically more gifted, so you may be able to cover a bit more of those with runs.
Because he adds an element to the offense. His style of quarterback is more conducive to carrying the offense than Mahomes is because yes, Mahomes is a scrambler, but he's not anyone that you want to design QB runs with.
No, not at all. And to be honest with you, you don't want to have to design him with Josh, but he's more than able to carry him out.
Josh
right?
is.
You don't want your quarterback to get his.
Some people are going to get this, and some people aren't, and I'm okay with it because I don't care what y'all think. Josh Allen is a more accurate white version of Cam Newton.
I mean, I think when the Panthers drafted Cam Newton, if they could see into the future, this is who they would have wanted, right? Like this is the type of quarterback they would have wanted.
Yeah,
because yes, he is far more accurate, which is crazy considering he came out with like what was it, 47% accuracy? It was
in the 50s, yeah,
bananas.
Like because the thing, I feel like a lot of people underestimate how big Josh Allen is. He's 6'5", 240.
It's a big boy,
and he's running people over. Like
I think, like I said, I want to keep that one in the tuck because like I see that parallel a little bit, right? He's going to be a load for us to handle, but to your point remaining that they haven't really beat a good team.
Yes.
Granted, the season is super early. A lot of these numbers are skewed. Do you think the Ravens are going to end up being a good team?
Yes.
You know,
maybe.
Do you think by the end of the season, the Jets are going to end up having a highly ranked defense? Maybe, right? Like
the Ravens is the only team that I think would be fine. The other three I think stink.
Yeah, I think the Saints are circling the drain. I think the Saints are terrible.
And I think the Dolphins suck.
Yeah, I think the Dolphins are pretty bad.
It's like 2-14.
It's a lot of losses. Well, so what? 2-10, really?
No, it's 2-14.
Yeah, but you got to take away the loss to the Bills.
Man, I ain't doing all that. They 2-14.
I'm just saying, like the Bills are 4-0. So like
these teams' collective record is 2-14.
Yeah.
They all lost to the Bills. They don't. You splitting hairs with that, but it don't really matter.
Yeah, I think it's a great point into thinking that like maybe they really aren't the juggernaut that you think they are, and we'll be getting them off a short week because they play Monday night versus Patriots.
Yeah, and then we got 2 weeks to prepare for them.
Yeah, and the Patriots just put straight belt to Carolina. That game made me feel so bad about losing 30-0, bro.
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and just get in the division.
It's also like in division. So the Bucks had their first loss of the season.
Yep, everyone but us.
Yeah. Bucks had their first loss of the season versus Philly.
31-25.
If you watch that game, there was no reason for the Bucks to lose that game. Go ahead.
And I know I said this in the after game reaction, but yeah, Buka might be him.
Yeah, yeah. Mecca one of them. Through 4 games. What is it? 5 touchdowns.
He yeah.
And he's getting the opportunity because Mike Evans is at minimum. Mike Evans' hamstring been hurt the past 3 years, bro.
That's what happens when you get old, man. You know. But
I'm saying the past 3 years he's missed time with the same right hamstring.
And once you get in them 30s, man, the check engine light come on and it don't kick off the same way it used to.
And I even if he comes back, or when he comes back this season, you don't expect him to be, right up to par as soon as he gets back. They're listing him for a minimum of 3 weeks right now, but we'll see. And then Godwin's back in there.
Yeah. Okay.
But Emeka he's getting a lot of opportunities. But if you watch that game, Philly Philly threw for -1 yard.
So, matter of fact, I want to kind of, backtrack a little bit to when you were talking about the Chiefs and not the Eagles remind me of that. The Eagles remind me of how the Chiefs were.
Well, yeah, they're just like the Chiefs were last year.
Like they're finding ways. They're finding ways to win. They're scraping through, but hey, they're winning. They're winning, so no one cares how it looks. It don't.
I think had Kansas City won the Super Bowl, a lot of the not caring how it looks would have prevailed, right? But because everybody was kind of dinging the bell all last season, they're like, hey, y'all are winning by the skin of your teeth, and then they got blown out in the Super Bowl. I think it facilitates a lot more discussion on like how it looks throughout the season. I think Philly looks terrible.
But to be fair, I mean, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl playing like that the year before.
They did. They were able to scrape it out the year before. They totally were. But like last year, I think, chickens came home to roost, or, Philly was just hot at that time. But if you look at Philly running the ball, they're averaging I think it's 2 whole yards less per rush right now.
Yeah, so I was looking at it. So Saquon has 77 attempts. 77.
Mm-hmm.
And he only has 260. Bijan has, I think, 64, and he's at 3. I want to say 314-ish. So
and Derrick Henry, he's averaging 7 yards, or he's averaging 5.7 or something like that.
Them fumbles.
Yeah, the fumbles, but he's averaging almost 6 yards a carry. But his attempts are low as hell. They just not giving him the ball. So last season,
with them fumbles, the
dude fumbled 3 times for his career, and then fumbled 3 weeks in a row. That it's an anomaly.
But 2 of them fumbles were the worst possible time.
It was, and that, speaking back to the Bills' point, that's another reason why it's that Ravens loss was very fugazi is not a strong word, because you had to have some mental fortitude, but a lot of things happened in there for them for that to happen. But regardless, the point I was going to make was last season you had Derrick Henry. Well, no, you had Saquon, Derrick Henry, then Bijan, right? And then behind him you had
Gibbs
from the Lions, and then,
Jacobs.
Yeah, all purpose. You look at it this year, you got Bijan 1 as of right now. Jonathan Taylor making a huge resurgence. And then I think behind that is Saquon.
I didn't being in the top 5, but I mean, I had to go back and double check it. But
yeah, but it changed so much from last year. The only person that's really still there is Bijan. And he's leading it far and away. Every game he's at 100 yards from scrimmage, if I'm not mistaken.
These NFL in scrimmage yards were 540 something.
Yeah. Rushing and receiving. He's having a monster year. But I say all that to say the Eagles are at a crossroads. I'm glad they were able to beat the Bucs, because we now we're only a game and a half behind, so needed that. But yeah, there was no reason for the Bucs to lose that game. They should have been in control of it for most of it. The Panthers got straight destroyed by the Patriots,
42-13,
and that 13 was fugazi as hell, because it's 42-6 for a long piece of that game. Drake he's good. He's not that good. The Panthers are bad. They're not that bad. The Patriots are decent. They're not that good.
Honestly, Drake May, he good.
He's good. He's not 42-6 good.
That wasn't just him. That was just a team thing.
42
ain't gonna the Panthers beating us 30-0 had nothing to do with Brace.
Yeah, exactly. That's
he
my
don't
thing.
He don't get the credit for that, but Drake May good. He's the almost the quarterback they don't talk about from the draft.
You want to know it's crazy.
He might be the best one.
When you look at his measurables, when you look at, is he reckless? A little bit. He gonna have some turnover. He's up there in turnover worthy plays.
He's Josh Allen.
He up there. That's exactly where I was going with it. I was like, he a baby Josh Allen, dog. He a baby Josh Allen. You look at how he runs the ball. He he got some turnover worthy plays, but if you're gonna draft a raw prospect based on like measurables and potential, like if Penix was making the throws that Drake May was making, we would be very upset because we expect you to know better. We drafted you as a more refined prospect. Drake May making those throws is almost exactly what you want because it's like we didn't draft you to play it safe. We drafted you to use your measurables and work through this.
But
right?
you didn't draft Penix to play it safe either.
You get the point I'm trying to make is that like there's still a lot of room and growth for him to learn the quarterback position. And I see his trajectory, it like his fully realized potential, very much like Josh Allen, right? Very much like a dual threat, not as physically imposing, obviously, but like super live arm, making some crazy throws. Like, yeah, Drake May he's pretty good. He's up there. And who was that? That was Caleb, him. Who else was
it? Was Caleb, Jaden, him, then Penix, then
McCarthy,
and then Bo Nix.
Yeah.
And then Spencer Rattler, who's actually been looking all right.
0-8 as a starter, and I hate it for him. Well, one, you're with the Saints, so I don't overly hate it. But two,
I hate the whole quarterback. I absolutely hate it because he can play good football and the team sucks around him, but it's just gonna be he's not doing like he's doing fine.
My thing is, the Cardinals game, he actually played well. There was another game, the game before this last one, he played well as well. This game, he played objectively bad. And they were in it all the way down to the final second, bro. It's just he can't catch a break, bro. He can't catch a break. Like his great games are wasted on bad defensive performances, and like his bailout defensive games, he can't seem to get it together. It's tough. It's tough. They lost to the Bills. They're 0-4 right now. If I gave you a shot in the dark what their point differential was, what do you think it is?
It was the Saints?
Yeah.
Like 25?
Nah. They're minus 55 right now. Yeah. Here's the crazy part. Panthers beat us 30-zip. Their point differential is negative 20. Yeah. They beat us 30-zip, and their point differential through 4 games is negative 20. That loss hurts, but we needed that. We needed that. We need, like, because I honestly think we might have 2 of the worst teams, not in the NFC, 2 of the worst teams in the league on our, like, in our division. So, like, we got to capitalize. We can't drop games to either of them. Like, I don't see us getting swept by the Bucks, but like we need to sweep. We need to sweep the Saints, and we gotta split with the Panthers. Speaking on the Panthers, like the Bucks, they're looking real good. Obviously they're going to challenge for the division. To be honest with you, I think that, like, I hate to say it, but it kind of runs through them for right now, especially with us being a game and a half behind. So, like,
they can play good football, so it absolutely runs through them.
Yeah. But when it comes to the Panthers, I think we have a big enough sample size to call it how it is. This quarterback and coach don't work well together. Is it the quarterback? Is it the coach? I don't know. But together, they do not work well. Yeah, I think it's time to go ahead and call it.
I can see Bryce ending up in Los Angeles
with McVay. I could see he's got talent. He's got talent, and you see it. But like whether it's the play calling, where it's the
environment is not there for him. He send him back out to LA. I don't think the Panthers environment is good for him.
Yeah. And then with the Saints, if there's ever been a more obvious tank job, I don't remember it. Like with the Browns and the Lions winless seasons, it at least looked like they were trying for some of it. Like the Saints just look, boy, it's pathetic.
That's probably why I'm willing to bet that Tyrann Mathieu heard news. He's like, "Oh, I ain't sticking around for this." He said, "Cut me." No, we ain't cutting you. Well, I'm retiring.
I'm retired, bro. Carr retired, and then so they had Shuck. Crazy. They said it on the broadcast, bro. So Shuck and Spencer Rattler have the same exact birthday. It was the day they were playing the Bills. Shuck is a year older.
Yeah.
That is bananas. Like, it's not a waste of a draft. To me, it's a waste of a draft pick if you're not starting him right now.
That's a waste of a draft pick because he got beat up by your fifth round guy. That's what.
Yeah.
And he's
like,
not. And they're drafting the quarterback next year, so
it's a
waste of a draft pick.
They're 100% drafting a quarterback now.
Yeah, that's complete waste because he's probably at best going to be your third string quarterback because he's not better than Rattler.
Who they're going to draft? I don't know. I have some thoughts on it. My conspiracy theories based on their offensive coordinator. If you've been around, you've heard it already. But the Saints offensive coordinator, his son is the quarterback for LSU.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. Just conspiracy theory. That's all. Shooting it out into the ether.
There's, I know we a little early for draft talk, but there's a boy out in Indiana that's going to be kind of nasty. Fernando Mendoza.
We little early. I ain't delved deep into it yet.
We'll get to that later.
So, all right, we're up against time, and usually I'll be like, "Oh, no, we missed ATL," but we didn't miss ATL. I wanted to say right now, ATL stands for Around the League, right? And it's you guys putting into the chat or putting into the inbox any topics you want us to discuss, and then we section out the last portion of the podcast to answer those, talk about them, go through the league, right? Haven't got anything, right? So if you put anything in the chat or put anything in the inbox, we definitely will shout you out. We'll discuss your topic. So always stay around to the end to hear. But look for us at BOAF Media on all social platforms. Make sure you hit that button, like, subscribe, and send messages. We definitely will respond, and we'll discuss it out over here on the pod.
Yeah, works for me.
So, it's been your boy Q City.
Your boy Taz Bravado.
And we out.
Peace.